Good morning from a very sunny Oxfordshire RAF airfield. My car is looking very out of place. V8 bloody Mercedes, twin turbos, Porsche turbos, Porsche GT3s, Litchfield GTRs, fucking mental Bentley thing, all kinds of aeroed up Westfield, whatever bloody hell it is, and my piece of shit. Kind of missed out on the updates on this recently because I've been so busy rushing to get it ready for this event. I haven't been able to do updates while I do it, but the long and short of it is I've now got a massive intercooler, about twice the size of the standard one, about the same width, slightly wider, nearly twice as thick and pretty much twice as tall. The big new turbo's on. That's the one built by Turbocharger Systems in America. I've changed all the boost pipes as well. They're slightly bigger, and unlike the ones that was on the car when I bought it, they've now all got lips on the end of the boost pipes so they shouldn't blow off. Mission Motorsport actuator now, and yeah, it's working. That's a very loud Bentley race car, fucking crazy. Yeah, added Jesus Fish and National Trust sticker to the back. It's now running 23 PSI, AFRs in the low 10s, so it's a bit much for standard internals, but well, just gotta send it really and see what happens. I mean, if it dies, it dies, but hopefully it stays awake until it kills a few posh cars. But yeah, hopefully get some decent footage of this. I'll tell you one thing, for the little bit of testing I've done, it's pretty rapid. God knows what power, I haven't timed it yet, but today they're timing it up to half mile. I think they're doing quarter mile speed, 0 to 60 and half mile. So we'll see what happens. Old lady's 1.3 Corolla.
Brilliant, isn't it? So you turboed it?
It's got a Celica GT4 engine in it, so yes.
I thought it was a bit quick.
Yeah, goes alright.
Awesome.
This is power then. We saw you go off the line.
Celica GT4 engine.
I knew it was quick because that Mazda's pretty quick.
We won't speculate whether it's nitrous or not.
Right, thank you. Yeah, goes alright, doesn't it? Yeah. What did it do top speed? Did you see? 150. Fucking hell. Not bad for a home built special. Celica GT4. Oh shit. Yeah.
It's got to be between 400 and 500 brake.
It's not the lightest thing in the world, but yeah, that's exactly why I bought it. Yeah, I just wanted it to be, I mean, the National Trust sticker and Jesus badge on the back and all that, yeah, and the cats, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just tried to make it the most little old lady car in the world. Yeah, I mean that's exactly why I built it. You know, it's purely to like just piss people off really and just have some fun. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. As much as I love good cars, you can have a lot of fun in the Sleeper, do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I wonder what power it is. I mean, like I said, what was it? Was it 150 for the half?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the guy said, oh, this is leaking. So I had this pack, and I looked at it.
You sure?
And then, yeah, the numbers came up.
Yeah, I had no idea. But yeah, 150 by the half. I'm chuffed with that. I could go home now. I don't. Yeah, I don't know what else I could do now. I don't want to turn it up anymore because it's 455 on standard internals is way beyond what everyone says is possible. So if it is anything like that, and 150 and a half probably is. I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it? How's the Bentley going there? It's an incredible thing. This time attack Bentley is fucking incredible. Absolute work of art. It's basically a Bentley GT car, but with the inlet restrictors and everything removed. So a whole shitload more powerful and fast. And yeah, it is ridiculous. That's what's in the back. Calipers worth more than my entire car. Proper ducting to everything. Absolute weapon. And they just use it for fun. Bar and plate intercoolers, if anyone's wondering. Not tube and fin. Exhaust. 320 wide slicks on the front and rear. Mercedes, whatever the fuck that is. SCLS, AMG, I don't even know what Mercedes are these days. Well, I kept up with that, he destroyed me off the line because I was just wheel spinning. And then kept up with, AMG GTS. So yeah, not shy. Yeah, it's all fixed fine. That second run, I did 150 in the half. Yeah. So yeah, it's all right. And I had one more run, and one of the little vacuum pipes on top popped off, so it was leaking boost a bit. Still fast. I don't know what the result was. I basically kept up with that. Yeah, that silver SLS. Yeah, sort of kept. He destroyed me off the line because this hadn't got any grip till like the third. Yeah. Yeah, so it was going well, but that was with like a boost leak, so I fixed that. The worst thing about that SLS run is I didn't have the fucking GoPro on. Gutted, because that'd have been brilliant. He might have some he might have a rear view one, but such is life, isn't it? So, alright, Sam, cheers. Afternoon. It's lunchtime, and so far the car has lived, and also it's fucking fast. 60 to 100 mile an hour in 4 seconds dead on one of the runs. 150 mile an hour in the standing half mile on 2 runs. Yeah, fast. Destroyed a couple of Porsches, kept up with some SLS, AMG, whatever the hell it was, and yeah, really chuffed with this. as you can imagine, all these supercar people are very, very surprised because this crappy Corolla's faster than a lot of them. And yeah, it's doing pretty good. It hasn't broke yet. I'm pretty certain it's on borrowed time, but yeah. Interesting thing is, I wonder what the power is, because I don't know much about, well, I don't really care about power figures, but Matt Clark from Roger Clark Motorsport come running over when I first did 150 in the half, and he was like, what power is it then? And I was like, I have no idea. And he's like, to do 150 in a half mile, it's got to be like 450, 500 brake. And if so, then hell yeah, because this is stock internals 3S-GTE with a standard size, externally sized turbo. Just a proper good hybrid. But we'll see. It's running a whole lot of boost, that's for sure. But it hasn't broke yet. It's gone in, I'm sure, but it's not broke yet. But when it breaks, it'll only be an head gasket or piston, I would have thought. So I'll put some better ones in and carry on, make it even faster. And just surprise people. Yeah. Here's an aftermath video of the half mile day I went to in the Corolla with the new turbo setup. And good and bad, mostly good. I mean, to be honest, I'm really chuffed with it. But at the same time, I kind of broke it too. Yeah, getting it ready was a rush, to say the least. I got it ready like sort of the evening of the night before, so I had very little testing. First time I put my foot down in testing, the boost pipe came off because it turned out I'd forgot to do a Jubilee clip up. Second time I put my foot down, the pipe to the map sensor came off again because I forgot to tie it up with anything. Did all that. Then on the day, first run, the pipe to the fuel pressure reg popped off because like an idiot I forgot again because I was rushing so much. So yeah, and then the next time, one of the little blocked off hoses on the inlet manifold popped off, which gave it a little air leak, but nothing much. But then after that, it ran fine, and it is fucking fast. First run, 60 to 100 mile an hour, 4 seconds dead, and 4 seconds dead is mental. 60 to 100, that's it with a gear change, and that's, well, Ferrari F40 is 4.1 60 to 100. You know, that is legit supercar fast. Turns out I did 150 mile an hour in the standard half, which is brilliant, really. It's better than what I thought I'd do. I'd have been really pleased with 140. And as you can imagine, in the day I surprised a lot of people. A lot of people with fancy supercars wondered why the hell this little crappy Corolla with cat stickers in the window was way faster than them. Matt Clark from Roger Clark Motorsport was there with the crazy Bentley time attack car they look after, and he came over to me after the first 150 run, and we was talking about it then, and Matt reckons this car must be making 450, 500 brake to do 150 terminal in half mile, which, well yeah, I mean, it's Matt Clark from Roger Clark Motorsport. If there's somebody to listen to who knows what he's on about, I think it's that guy out of all the people in this country especially. Car that weighs, well, it's 1080 with hardly any fuel in it and no methanol and nobody driving, with my fat ass in it, a full tank of fuel and a full tank of methanol, which is how it was on the day when I did the 150 runs. Doris, shush. That'd be 1200 kilos, maybe a touch more, but round about 1200 kilograms. So yeah, I can understand this 450, 500 brake idea. Doris, come here. Sit. And shush. Doris, come here. So yeah, it's bloody fast. It's got, and this is with crap grip as well, it smokes first, second and sort of third now. So I'm going to need to do boost by gear to get the power down, and also probably some even better tyres, even though these are really good tyres. They coped with 300 odd, but it seems to be more like 455 now. It's running a lot of boost, to be fair. 23 psi, 1.5 bar. I think it's because it's boost creeping. The actuator spring pressure isn't that high, but the boost sure is. But it was coping with that. It was running low 10 AFRs and was loving life and all brilliant. Unfortunately, something, I've not actually checked what yet, but something happened on the last run, it spiked to 1.8 bar and like 11.7 AFRs. I got a bit carried away, and rather than pussying out of it like I probably should have, I just kept my foot in, even though I wasn't happy with how the AFRs were and everything. And right at the end of the run, it had a problem. It started smoking quite a lot out the breather and exhaust, and it's running on what sounds like 3. So I reckon I've done a piston. But considering this 450-500 brake, by the looks of it, on stock internal 3S-GTE, something that most people don't even seem to like to push above about 330, then I'm pretty chuffed with that. I don't care. It was always going to happen at one day, and it did today. I mean, it drove home. I drove it the 70 something miles all the way home, smoky exhaust, but still drove fine. I think it's only on 3, so no major damage. Still got perfectly good water temp, oil pressure. It just seems to probably have a hole in one of the pistons, so time to make it better. But people who think a CT26 can't be made with the standard housings into something that's genuinely very powerful, because nobody seems to make more than about 350 max out of these things, they're massively wrong. Because nobody with a 1200 kilogram car does 150 mile in the half mile with 350 brake. No chance. So yeah, a bit of a crap set of videos, because I'm not a video person. I'm more enjoying myself, but hopefully you lot have seen. So yeah, Turbocharger Systems was the guys that made this turbo, and it's a fucking beast. I'm addicted to this half mile stuff now, and addicted to destroying supercars, so I want to do more, and to be honest, I want even more power. So if I could see 160, 170 and a half, I'd be really chuffed. But I think this car might even run out of gears before then. But it needs wider tyres, to be honest now, so maybe with some 245 drag radials on it, it'll have the gear in for that without having to change the gearbox, but we will see. To finish this video off, I think it's a good thing for me to do a bit of time comparisons versus all the other cars there. There was over 50 cars entered, 51 or 52, I'm not sure, but over 50 for sure. And only 10 cars were faster than my crappy little Corolla. And every one of them was either crazy supercars, hypercars, McLaren 720S and stuff like that, or big money tuned GTRs and so on. So for a little front wheel drive Corolla that owes me, I think it's less than 5,000 quid all in, buying the car and doing the tuning that I've done to it, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, this shows the magic of tuning and why tuning is and always will be the thing to do. There's no way you get a standard car and get as much performance for your money as with tuning. Not if you do it correctly. If you're getting worse value for money with tuning, then you're doing it wrong. Simple as that. It had terrible grip, nothing in first or second and practically none in third, so it's really only flying from 4th gear on, which is what you can kind of see in the videos. But despite that, I was faster at the half mile mark than the vast majority of these supercars and so on. I mean, as examples, there's things like R8 V10 Plus, which was flying in the quarter mile, 10.1 seconds, but only managed 148 at best in the half. There's a tuned RS5, I think it had over 600 brake, that ran high 10s and that only managed 137 mile an hour in half. There was GT2 and GT3 Porsches that was doing 140 odd in the half. There was a 500 brake Impreza Type R, really cool car, I love Impreza Type Rs, and that managed 140 in the half. There was a C63S AMG Merc, 145. Yeah, some stuff beat me. I mean, of course it did. I'm in a crappy little £5 Corolla, but everything that beat me was genuinely, you know, hypercars. McLaren 720S did a 9.8 second quarter mile and did 164 in the half. Fast R brought their Bentley GT3 time attack car, and that did 10.1 in the quarter, which is pretty amazing for a time attack car. It's not really set up for launching, and did 167 in the half. The craziest one of all was the Litchfield GTR demo car, and that did 188 mile an hour in the half mile, which is fucking flying. But obviously these cars are all like hundreds of thousands of pounds sort of money. But yeah, the Corolla is a legit supercar acceleration. I mean, considering because of lack of grip, I was like 2 seconds off in the quarter mile to most of these cars, but I was still faster by the half. It's like, whoa. A car that did exactly 150 in the half, same as me, was a new AMG GTS, and again, they're like a 200 mile an hour plus supercar. Here's an interesting one as well, because everybody, especially anyone who's been in one or drives one, seems to think Teslas are untouchable because they do rocket off the line like almost nothing else. There's a Model X P100D there, 11.1 in a quarter mile, which is amazing for big 5-door, you know, family car. But in the half mile, still only 129 miles an hour. So from a rolling start, my Corolla would easily pull away from it. But people's got it in their heads that Teslas are untouchable, but no, not at all. But this is why half mile events are so amazing, and this is why I'm really chuffed that Mission Motorsport did this. Half mile is a really great real world indicator of how fast, you know, a tuned road car is, because quarter miles, you know, set up really for drag cars, so it's all about the launch. VMAX events, you know, especially when they're not a set distance that anybody can compare it to. I mean, standing mile is not so bad, but it's still a long way, a lot more speed than you'd be keeping your foot in real life on the road or anything. But standing half mile is realistically a distance if you was having a little bit of fun on the road, for example. By the half mile speed, you've got a good indication of what would happen if you ended up in a roll race against most of these cars. That'd be another thing I'd love to have in the UK, roll race events, but they don't seem to exist yet, and beggars can't be choosers, so I'm just happy enough having half mile events. Sit down. Sit. If you want to come out here, behave. Doris, shush. Doris, come here. Sit. Don't bloody bark all the time at people.